Alright, here's something I wanted to discuss. I bought a few things for the 6-liter. Before you guys decide you want to jump through your phones or your computer screens and castrate me and wonder why I want to throw a carburetor on the 6-liter, doesn't take too much to calculate and to figure out why. I got the motor. It was out of a plow truck. The engine block's at the machine shop right now. The bottom end is sound, you know. So, just coasting around on eBay and on Facebook Marketplace, I found a brand new Holley dual plane for $200 and a used MSD 6010, also $200, so $400. I already have a good Demon carburetor. This is going on the wagon. I'm going to build the 6-liter for the wagon, and I started doing some thinking because the motor wasn't complete, you know. I'm like, by the time I add up, you got oxygen sensors. I need to find a mass airflow sensor. I need to find an air intake, whether I'm going to run a simple, spout with the mass airflow and a filter, or cold air intake or something fairly nice. Shit adds up. Your fuel lines and fittings, you got to replace all that stuff, unless, you can get away with using your metal line and, high pressure fittings, but then you're just creating places for leaks in the future. It's better just to have, use it with nylon or sometimes even rubber hose, or just metal all the way front to back with very few fittings. You're cutting and pasting. You're gonna. I was there. It adds up. I have to get another oil pressure sensor. And here's the big one: a basic email tune. You find a reputable tuner who shoots you an email, or you have to mail your computer to them. If you don't have HP tuners and you can't load it yourself, and you're mailing your PCM to them, it adds up. Not to mention you got to get a fuel pump and a hanger. For the wagon, I'm probably going to use like a Caprice, or I have a G-body, the TBI style hanger and pump, low pressure. If the tank is short enough, that's what I'll go with. If not, I'll just use the Caprice or B-body style TBI setup. But the point I'm making is, there's a lot of folks, and it's like, these guys are idiots, throwing a carb on an LS motor. I got the choke hooked up. I hooked the choke up on the Demon 625, and it runs flawless. I mean, I had the stuff laying around on this setup, so I threw it together. So, scored the intake off a guy on Facebook. He said he bought these in bulk. These normally go for close to $300. $200, he even delivered it to me. And I got the MSD and the harness, and it's used. But I tested it. I tested it on the 5.3. It fires right up, no problem. So, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, wow. By the time I'm all said and done, from top to bottom, I have to do the harness, source some sensors, probably maybe some pigtails, and I got a good harness from a friend of mine and a good PCM, and then have to have it tuned, sourcing it, and I need another throttle body, because the throttle body that's on that intake was junk. So I'm like, wow, you know what? It's cheaper just to run a carburetor. Yeah, I'm not saying I recommend this for everybody, but for my situation, it's more cost conscious. I know how to tune carburetor. I know how to tune the MSD, and for what Dad's doing, it's a weekend warrior. He's used to carburetors. But just going over the pricing, I'm like, this is just preliminary. When it's all said and done, I could have $1,000, maybe $1,200 wrapped in, maybe even more wrapped into the fuel injection setup. Mind you, if you get a complete engine, it's running, you're able to disable the VATs in the vehicle while it's running by disabling the body control module, so you unlock the computer, you have all your sensors, and that's fine. Run EFI by all means. If you have a complete running motor, run it. But if you're getting, I paid $250 for the 6-liter. I didn't expect it to be a freaking champ. All I care about was the bottom end was solid, which it is solid. It's at the machine shop now, and I have a new cam bearings pressed in. I had it blasted, and he's going to run a hone through the cylinders, and I'm slapping it back together. But it's little things add up. People don't realize that. They look at us like we're idiots, and hey, we're some kind of backyard hillbilly, so you're running a carburetor on a new motor. Well, you know what? If you know how to tune a good, nothing wrong with a good tuned carburetor, especially if you know how to do it. and you take advantage of the newer technology, you know, these engines. And my truck runs fine. The 5.3 and the S10 runs like a champ. I've driven it everywhere. It's simple, and you know, in the end, it's up to you. So, just wanted to share with you guys. It's like, do I spend $1,200 on my huge laundry list and I'm piecemealing shit together, or a quick $400? You know, I mean, not a lot of people have that kind of scratch, because you know, you buy the intake and you buy the spark box new, it's well over close to $700, and you know, it all depends. It depends on your situation. But for what I'm doing, for what we're doing, in cost in mind, you know, I'm getting quality pieces here, and I still have a good carb setup, and you know, it doesn't take much to get it running and running properly. I want to go with a carburetor. So the choice is yours. I'm not telling you what to do. There's no pros, no cons. Carb setup runs perfectly fine in every situation I've run. I mean, even with cold starts, you run a new modern carburetor with a choke. You know, it's jetted properly. If you want to run a wideband oxygen sensor, you know, to even get yourself close, go for it. But I'm not going to sit in a pissing match with all these guys online saying, "Oh, you need to run EFI." And ultimately, it is the best. It is the best choice if you drive a lot. Daily driver, run EFI. But for what I'm doing, this will be perfectly fine. I owed you guys a little bit of an update. So this is what I'm doing. Hopefully I get the block back soon, and I'm going to shoot you guys a video of reassembly, and hopefully I have the motor together before Christmas. So, hey, it's nice catching up with you guys. As always, questions or comments, hit me up, and by all means, click the subscribe button below. Talk to you really soon. Have a good evening.